Welcome to another edition of iAccelerate Remote, where we talk to some of our startups who have been working through our program and who are now working through, of course, what's the latest crisis that's facing all businesses, and that is COVID-19 and its impact to all of us. So today we're talking to two companies who came through or have been part of the cohort at the Bega Innovation Hub down in Bega on the south coast of New South Wales. So we have today Kay from K Organics, and we have Joe Lane from C Health Products. So I'm going to ask each of them as founders to introduce themselves and their company, and then we'll actually get a little bit involved in how they actually have responded to the crises. So first, over to you, Kay. Thank you.
Great to do this sort of thing. So yeah, I'm Kay Saarinen from Saarinen Organics, and what we do is that we create our own eco and sustainable skincare from the herbs that we grow on our permaculture farms. It's an eco-sustainable farm. We've got a straw bale house, solar power. We've got 6 acres where we grow the herbs, and we create our skincare here in my lab.
And Joe?
Oh, hi, Omar. Hi, Kay. Nice to see you. Yeah, I'm Joe from C Health Products, and we sustainably harvest seaweed or kelp from our local South Coast beaches, and we process it on our property in Tilba into granules or powder that can easily be incorporated into your diet or into other products such as cosmetics and skincare and a whole range of other applications. So yeah, we love what we do and we love where we live. Looking forward to expanding the business.
Yeah, well, I mean, you both have very interesting business that have some real parallels, and some issues, of course, are quite different about how you actually are accessing your raw ingredients. So, Kay, you grow most of, or you have been growing most of your ingredients right up to the point of when the bushfires came through. Can you talk about what you were growing before that and what the impact of the bushfires were in January?
So we grow probably about 12 to 15 different species of herbs, and some are seasonal herbs, some are in winter and some are spring. We do 3 plantings in a year. We actually, prior to the bushfires, we were in a full-on drought, so we actually lost a crop for that. But then we put another crop in, and then the fires came through in late in January. Actually, the 1st of February, the fire came through here and burnt out our river flats where our main cropping is. But the good news is that it didn't burn our seed crop area. So I've still got all my beautiful seed crop herbs, and it won't be too difficult to get back down there and get it all rocking again, because there's a lot going to seed now because it's autumn. So. And we've had a fantastic autumn, lots of rain.
So the impact that changed the way you had to think about your business at the time. You obviously had to move, and there were threats of fire and your own safety. How did that make you rethink the business in the way you had to respond to the fires and to what's going on around you?
It was incredible because we were gearing up for the best January, February, March of our whole entire business. My husband just came into business, and we had pretty much a market booked every day. We also had staff doing markets for us as well. So on some days we had 3 and 4 markets booked in one day. We also had a pop-up shop in Bega. So we were gearing up for a really big one. And bang, on New Year's Eve, the first fires hit, and when we had our first evacuation. So it turned everything upside down. All the tourists left. They locked everything down. It was absolute chaos. So we had to change and we had to adapt to survive. I manufactured all this skincare to handle the sort of load that we're looking at. So we turned to digital. So we turned to things like spend with them and buy from the bush, and getting the website really on point, and getting our story, telling our story on an everyday basis.
Joe, how about for yourself? You also had an impact as a result of the fires threatening your business.
Yeah, so it was a very tough time for everyone down here on the South Coast. The fires got within about 4 k's of our property, but as far as the business goes, it's a seasonal business. So we wild harvest seaweed in summer, December, January, February, our busy months. So really we lost 5 weeks of our collection time because we were evacuating, we were in survival mode. So the sales were still coming through, and we were trying to keep up with that, which was, lovely that the rest of the country was supporting. The water quality wasn't great because of the ash in the water, so it just impacted on our ability to harvest, which will now impact us later in the year.
what did you do and to sort of take charge or take command during that time? So when you saw those things change.
There's a few channels, as Kay was saying, Buy from the Bush and empty eskies, and the support that we were getting from people traveling to the South Coast. So I got on board with the social media, and I'm just also working really hard now at our other main project of farming, which will then give us a more reliable, consistent supply of seaweed in the future.
So, I mean, we talk a lot about resilience, but I mean, usually it's used, it's the bandied around as just a term. But when I think we were looking at you from further away in Wollongong, where we didn't get the direct impact of the fires, of the bushfires, we sort of escaped. At least some of us did. Some of people not far away from here did get impacted. But our business was not as far as the accelerator here, and we didn't have that direct. We were in the direct line of fire. So we continued on sort of through that phase, knowing that these were impacts were going around us. But we weren't pushed into doing anything, and most of the startups who were in our hub up in Wollongong didn't really have to do much different. Everybody felt really terribly for everybody else, but they weren't actually making changes. I think we saw you making those changes and addressing some things that you may have been waiting on and then have moved on, as you said, in such in a digital world. And we provided some programs to help those people get along in that. So now we've had COVID-19 virus hit, and it seemed in some ways, because I dropped in on one of your Zoom calls with all your cohort, that everyone seemed to take it more in stride, whereas people elsewhere were sort of in a panic mode. It seemed like you already went through that, and it's like, okay, so whatever, come on, let's bring it on. So tell me about that. Tell me how you felt about now that this is happening, and where you're at in your heads about what your business is responding or better positioned.
I think it's all about, you've got to change and you've got to adapt. You've got to, which actually is a permaculture principle too, is to change and adapt. And also really look at what problems are out there and trying to address the problems and how can I help. And that's what I sat down, me and my hubby sat down and we're like, okay, what's going on? Okay, so our thing is skincare. What can we do? So a lot of people, including us too, we're washing our hands constantly and, doing the hand sanitizer, and it's got to be a 70% alcohol for it to kill the virus. So, and that's incredibly drying. That's just, that basically strips all the oils out, and that holds all your skin cells together. So people, their hands are just absolutely, red raw and sore and itchy as well. So I thought, okay, I want to design a cream to fit into that problem and to create a solution. So that's when I decided to get to work and start to create a cream that had to tick all the boxes. It had to be an antibacterial as well, because we didn't want to put an oil on a hand that would create more bacteria. It had to soak in, because you want to wash your hands, you want to sanitize your hands, moisturize, and keep going, because you're doing it so often you don't have a lot of time. So we wanted something that absorbed in really quickly. So we created that cream.
And how far along are you in getting that cream to market?
It already is. I'm going to show and tell.
Fantastic.
Actually, our labels just came today.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah. Wow, that looks great. So
they
how long?
Don't they?
So how long was it from the time you thought about it to the time you have it there, sitting there, ready to go?
It was probably about a 2.5 week turnaround. Yeah. From concept to then when I actually started manufacturing, I actually did a video of manufacturing, because that's what it's all about now. It's all about content. There's lots of people watching at home now, so we've got a captive audience. So we have to tap into that sort of stuff too. And so I did a video of me manufacturing it, and put it up that night. I had 24 orders. Where can we buy it? Where can we buy it? And all I had them was in clean skins without a label. And so I started selling it with clean skin. So today's the first day that they actually, the labels just arrived today. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with
fantastic.
It.
So we call startups the first responders of the business community, and I think that's you're illustrating why. How about for you, Joe? What's been your response to the COVID crisis?
Well, the magic ingredient in Kay's new cream is, drumroll, seaweed. So we've supplied Kay with seaweed in the past for some of her other products. So it's great to be, part of this solution, because it is a very real thing with sanitizing with alcohol and washing hands all the time. So seaweed's great for moisturizing and nourishing and detoxifying and all of that, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. So yeah, it's nice to be part of that project, or part of this project.
It's fascinating that both of you actually not only work on the problem separately, but then you end up working together on this particular response, which we find, really a fascinating part of the way startups can actually, they work together so much more easily because there's no barriers typically. And so it was wonderful to see you two doing that together. Just part of our closing maybe is other startups will potentially be, or founders or potential startup founders might be looking at this and wondering if this is a terrible time to be thinking about starting a business or continuing with a business, or it might be actually a good time. Is there some messages either of you or both of you would like to just share with a founder who might be going through that in their heads right now and wondering whether this is a good time, or should they just call it quits?
Don't call it quits, no. This is the time, I think, to be innovative. This is the time when we've got a captive audience where you can do a lot of customer validations and especially on social media, get quizzes out there, get forms out there, get some data back, do your research, my goodness, do courses, do online courses, educate yourself, find your holes in the business and work hard every day. This is a fantastic opportunity. Well, I see this as an amazing opportunity actually, and especially after having the bushfires come through. We've only been back in our house for 3 weeks. And we've only just got running hot water on 2 days ago. And so it's been a fantastic time for us to heal our land, heal our property, but also stop and go, okay, what else can we do? How else can we better our business? So I reckon, use this time wisely.
Yeah, well said. Jo, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And I think, business is about finding solutions to problems. So whatever it is that your business is about, it's about trying to help people and improve people's situations. So whilst you may have some time on your hands, this is a time to really focus on developing that idea, streamlining it, and getting some focus around what it is that you can do that ignites you and that you're passionate about, so you can feel good about making a difference and and having a great business at the same time.
Yeah. Well, very positive. You're very positive people. Startups and founders usually are positive people, and those who last the distance usually are the ones who keep the eye on the prize and bounce back from adversity. And I think the two of you are credit to founders everywhere who've done that and are doing that now during these trying times. Well, thanks for sharing your stories, and wishing you the best of luck as we going forward, and looking forward to seeing what you come up with next.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Omar.
Thanks, Omar. See you later. Bye.
Bye.